Hey friend, welcome back to my channel. This is part two from our last video about fighting for your time. As promised, we were going to talk about how to go from chaos in our schedule and in our time to calm. And so in this video, I'm going to give you some time-saving routines so that you can take your peace back. If you missed the last video talking about the Martha complex and how being busy, steals our time and our peace, be sure to go catch that, right? But I wonder today, friend, like, how would you rate your time management? Are you busy all week, or have you, maybe even since the last video, worked in some time to make sure that you're resting, you're refreshing, and you're resetting, right? For you, would you say life is generally chaotic, or is it generally calm? Like, we all have busy moments and busy, days, but ultimately, how would you rate your day? If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. As stated, this is kind of like a part two of our last video as we talk about fighting for our time. I'm Erica Davenport, owner and founder of She Pursues Purpose. I am a Christian life and business coach to women who are in pursuit of their purpose. And so we're talking about something very practical, but will help us in a spiritual way as well. I want you to understand that many practical things in life, they always have spiritual implications, right? And systems, routines, healthy habits, discipline, time management, consistency, these are all practical tools that we need, but they become spiritual weapons against our enemy, right? Our enemy is spiritual. The Bible tells us we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. And so I just want to share with you briefly today my process on how I intend to save time, create routines, reduce the repetitiveness. Some of the stuff we do is just the same thing over and over and over again. And so I'm just going to briefly share that with you because I told you I would. I told you I would share with you some practical time saving routines for the woman who really just wants her peace back. So I kind of mentioned this in our last video, but I'm going to mention again. I want you to have a unapologetic morning routine. Listen, I cannot tell you the power of a morning routine. We all have different times, we all have different schedules, we all have different roles and responsibilities, but we all wake up in the morning, Lord willing, right? And I really think it's so important that we give God our first and not our leftovers. Think about it in a relationship. You ever been in a relationship where maybe you or your spouse, they work all day long, and by the time they're home, you don't have their best, you have what's left. You know what I mean? They're exhausted, they don't have any energy, and you could be annoyed because it's like, man, you done spent all your time out here now. What about us? And that's how we have to make sure we're not treating the Lord, right? Give God your first, not your leftovers. In my planner, I'm always writing first, like God time. God time. I have a vertical happy planner. And so with the time blocks in there, I'm blocking off. My morning routine is significantly longer, because I'm home full time and all the things, but that is a non negotiable. It has to be a non negotiable for you, friend. There's so much power in starting our day with the 1A who blessed us with the day, who breathed the light into us this day, right? But you will get the fill up you need, the strategy you need, and maybe like you don't have hours like I do to spend time with God in the morning. My routine, I wake up, I read the Bible, I journal the Bible, I get my son off to school, I take my prayer walk and I talk to God. Maybe you don't have time to do all that, but I do want you to evaluate your time and figure out what you do have time to do. You know what I mean? What you do have time to do. I highly recommend that you have an unapologetic. And I say unapologetic because something is always going to pull for your time. There's always something else you could be doing in the morning, which means you might have to go to bed earlier so you can wake up earlier and be intentional that you're not like snacking on the word of God or always on the go. There's nothing wrong with driving to work and talking to God or, multitasking, but when you set an intention to meet God in the morning, it's a beautiful thing, because He meets you. You know what I mean? He meets us. So that's my first tip. The next one is to do like a brain dump. And for me, because I am entrepreneur, the way my brain works, I do like a business dump, all the things I need to do for my business and my ministry. And then I do like a personal dump. Maybe, you have to do work. These are things I need to do for work or whatever, but just dumping out. I don't know about you, but there are things swirling in this head of mine all the time. And just getting it out on paper clears up clutter in my mind. And so each week I'm doing a dump. That doesn't mean everything is getting done, but I'm just getting it all out. So that's what I recommend you do. Um, and then what I do is I have learned to create weekly planning sessions. You know what I mean? So um, I choose a day of the week where I'm going to look at my schedule. I read this book. Oh, I forgot what it was called. If I find it, I'll link it in a thing. But I read this book and it really helped me. Like, I look at the next 2 weeks over my planner, but I'm just planning. I'm writing in, important things, non-negotiables and stuff like that. But I am planning my week out, right? And we'll talk about how I do that in a little bit, but I am setting an intention. That doesn't mean everything goes according to, but it gives you direction. It gives you a target to aim at. Sometimes it's like you can have so much to do, you don't know what to do. So it's like, Lord, what you want? What should I do? You know what I mean? But when you have it on paper, you have a strategy and you have a target to aim at. And so just decide which day of the week is best for you to take 30 minutes to an hour and say, okay, I'm going to sit and I'm going to look at this planner and I'm going to strategize, right? I think the phone is cool, but I highly recommend you get a planner that you write it down, you process it in your brain. The phone can become a distraction. Electronic planners, it can become a distraction, especially if you got your social media on there, you got your email on there. No, like, be very intentional. And one of the things I did input too, a good habit to have is just to commit your week to the Lord. Pray over the week. Pray over your planner. God, bless my time. Help me to stay focused. Help me to discern distractions. Help me to finish what I start. You know what I mean? There's no harm. I pray about everything. That's what the Bible tells us to do. Um, the next one is, after you like create these weekly planning sessions, again, just first write down your appointments and the non-negotiables. The non-negotiables can be sketchy though, because some of your non-negotiables is actually negotiable. So I'm talking about doctor's appointments, meetings with your kids' school, things that's real non-negotiables, right? Like, not the birthday party that you could skip if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? But stuff that's really important. Write it in your planner first, so then you can plan around realistically. Because sometimes the problem is that we put too much on our schedule because we don't write everything down. Like, literally write everything down so you can have a realistic idea of how much time you have and how much time you don't. One of the things I love to do when I'm planning is designate, automate, delegate, and eliminate all of it. You know what I'm saying? I like to designate days for certain things. It helps reduce the swirling in my mind. So I know on Mondays, for example, for my personal home type stuff, my goal is to cook 2 to 3 meals, meal prep Monday. So I don't have to cook every day. You see what I'm saying? Then I just maybe have to cook Wednesday or Thursday, and I'm cooking a couple more meals because I don't like cooking every day. But I find myself cooking every day, and it takes so much thought out of what am I going to cook? I don't know about you, sis, but that question has took up significant hours in this span of life that I've had. What am I going to cook? What am I going to cook? But if you designate a day to meal plan and then designate a different day to go to the grocery store and meal prep, it makes a difference. All those mundane, repetitive tasks you have to do. Decide what days of the week you're going to do laundry. Don't do it every day. You know what I'm saying? And then delegate. If you ain't living by yourself, somebody can help you. If you can afford a laundry service, you can afford a cleaning service. If you could afford help, delegate. If you can't afford help and you got other humans living with you, teach them how to do it, delegate, right? If you are, somebody who has to like create content for your business or your ministry, write emails to your people, automate, schedule some batch days where I'm going to create content in batches. I'm going to write 4 emails for the month, right? These are just simple things, but understand these are truly weapons, because the enemy, as I stated in our last video, he's after your time. So you have to be very strategic and hyper focused on how you utilize the time that God has given you, or else it will slip through your fingers like sand. And then think about, like, what can I eliminate? Sometimes maybe it's not appointments, it's our habits. I'm scrolling too much. I'm talking to my best friend on the phone too much. I'm spending too much time watching my favorite show. Ain't nothing wrong with your self-care. We'll talk about that. But what do you need to eliminate? What are some time wasters in your schedule? We all have them. And friend, we do have limited time. We need to be uber intentional. We have to fight for the time that God has given us. We have to be good stewards over our time. So these are some of the things that you can do as you are planning it, right? Finally, self-care and a Sabbath should be a routine that you implement. When I'm working with my clients, it doesn't matter what our angle is. It doesn't matter if it's business. We do both life and business or leadership, wherever. I am always incorporating self-care. It is actually spiritual. It is stewardship over yourself. Because we are women who are called to wear many hats and play many different roles, it's so easy to forget about you. And so I want you, one of the things I have is what I call a My Day Friday. Every Friday, I'm doing something with and for Erica. Sometimes that include others. I love going to meet people, meet my friends and my sisters, for breakfast or lunch, but I am doing something for me every single Friday. That is my self-care day. That is my day. I am worthy. Friend, you are worthy. You cannot be feeling shameful and guilty and bad. You are worthy to be taken care of. You are worthy for time to yourself. You are worthy of these things. Maybe you don't get to have a whole day, but maybe you're going to schedule a couple hours a week where it's just me. Because the problem as women is we can lose our identity in the roles that we play. That happened to me. Outside of, being a wife and a mom and an employee, I didn't know who I was or what I like to do. And that's a dangerous place to be. So make sure you are incorporating a self-care. You are designating a self-care day, self-care time blocks in your schedule, and a Sabbath, just a day of rest, a day of doing nothing, a day of doing whatever it is you feel like doing, but where you're not working and doing. My Sabbath is typically on Saturday. And I just do what I feel like doing, and I don't do what I don't feel like doing. If I feel like sitting in the bed all day, cool. That ain't typically what I like to do, but there are times where I do. I just need to lay down and rest. That is my binge day. Maybe I don't have time to watch TV all week, but on Saturday, it's like, yeah, I'm going to just chill, or I'm going to go to the movies, whatever it is, but a day of no work. And that's also a sign of trust in God, where you don't have this hustle mentality. Like, if I don't work 7 days a week, you know what I mean? It won't get done. No, you rest and you trust God. And so I hope this was helpful. I hope this was helpful. Just practical, but sometimes, I don't know about you, I can forget some of the most simple, practical things I should be doing. So hopefully this was beneficial to you. I want to give you this metaphor of a tornado that was dropped in my spirit when I was recording this video for you. And I just want to share this with you. You can screenshot it. But the tornado is like a life out of order, right? The tornado represents the whirlwinds of busyness, distraction, emotional stress, and overcommitment. And in the center of every tornado is the eye. And this is a still calm place. And this symbolizes what happened, friend, when we slow down and we center our life on Jesus. Even when chaos is around us, nobody said it wouldn't be. We're anchored in peace. We talked about that last week on the video, or on the last video, how Martha, she was annoyed because busyness is a peace stiller. Routines and time management, it's not just about productivity. These are spiritual anchors. And when life spins, having these systems and these routines, they're going to help you to stay grounded. It's going to help you to prioritize what matters. And I want you to know that your life isn't meant to be a storm. It's meant to be a sanctuary. Reframing your time is a part of restoring your peace. The enemy is after both of them, and you cannot pursue your purpose. You can't fulfill the call on your life. You can't meet the needs of the people. You can't do what God has created you to do if you are constantly caught up in this whirlwind called life. And finally, friend, I just want you to reflect this week. I'm putting on my Coach Erica hat. What does a fruitful day look like to God? Not just a full one. When you look at your life, when you look at your schedule, what does fruit look like to God? Not to you. Because to us, sometimes it's like, man, it would be so fruitful if this laundry was done. What is fruitfulness to God? Not just a full day. Let's aim, let's commit to having a fruitful day. Okay. All right. I hope this was beneficial. Leave in the comments if any of the time saving routines for you it was beneficial for you. Are there some you're going to commit to? I would love to know some other ways. This isn't like an exhaustive list. Leave in the chat, leave in the comments, ways that you save time. All right. I hope this blessed you. I will see you next time.